If you work in e-commerce or performance marketing, then you already know that November and December are pure chaos. And there's nothing worse than getting to Black Friday and realizing that you don't actually have enough creative assets to market on Meta. So within this video, I'm going to walk you through a simple, no nonsense, no frill workflow that will help you get Black Friday ready assets in under an hour, even if you or your client have got zero new assets ready. So this video is really for our brands where if you haven't had time to produce assets, perhaps you don't have a graphic designer, a photographer to create new content, new UGC ads, or perhaps you're a paid media marketer and you've taken on a new client and you are just scrambling to get things ready in time. The real problem with Q4 is generally that people don't have enough ads, particularly with Andromeda, which demands variation with the new Meta rules. It's super important that you can get enough quantity into your account. On top of this, we see that clients send assets late because as business owners, they're already super busy during a very volatile time. We see that CPMs are spiking and this is adding pressure to your ad account, and ultimately teams run out of time. So if you feel like this resonates with you, then make sure to watch this video up until the end and I'll run you through the workflow of what we're doing for some of our brands who are feeling like they're in a similar position. First things first, I know we're all so sick of talking about this, but it has to be said, AI isn't magic, it is a multiplier. What do I mean by that? Essentially, AI isn't going to fix a bad strategy and it's not going to help you reinvent your entire brand identity either. Video generators particularly are just not there yet. But what it can do is act as a multiplier to give you speed, structure, and output volume at a time when your workload is the busiest. So jumping right into it, this is the exact workflow that I used for a recent brand we onboarded where we literally did not even have access to their Google ad account and how we as a creative team had to work around that. So first things first, for some of you, these templates may look familiar already. I've been talking about them in previous Black Friday videos. Starting with templates, this is one of your fastest wins. So let's say you don't have access to any of the assets from a new client. Perhaps you could get assets from their website, but that's pretty much it. These are 3 of the top winning ads that you will find work for you during Black Friday. And none of these should technically require you to have access to the raw files from your brand's like Google Drive or Dropbox, for instance. So first one on the left here, this one does particularly well during Black Friday, especially for retargeting or warm audiences. As you can see, it literally doesn't require any imagery from your brand. It's just a black background with whatever your promotion is. Obviously, the bigger and better your promotion sounds, if it's something like 50% off site-wide or, save $100 or whatever, that will definitely be more enticing. I always recommend to try and keep it super simple here. Just add your brand logo, for instance. You can even add something like a product carousel in your Meta AI Advantage plus placements. Just be careful there, make sure that the products that are pulling through are actually relevant to whatever your promotion is. But you will absolutely see this do well, particularly in any retargeting or warm or prospecting campaigns. Next up is your DPA frames. So I'm not actually talking about the image here, I'm just talking about the frame around this carousel. These are particularly useful if you're something like a fashion brand or if you've got a ton of SKUs, so a lot of products in your collection. And if you're generally seeing that DPA carousel or catalog ads work well for you, then 100% do this. Just build a little PNG with a frame in your brand coloring, add whatever your promotion is, add something like Black Friday, biggest sale of the year, whatever that may be, and then just make sure that the center is transparent. Then get your paid media manager, when they're building the DPA ads, to just upload this frame manually into the DPA ad to have it running during your sale period. And then lastly, just building some sort of framework where you're displaying a lot of your images all at once. Again, particularly if you have a lot of products, helps if it's something visual like fashion in this case. In this instance, we literally pulled through the images and videos from the brand's website and turned it into a bit of a montage where it's literally just cutting to different clips very quickly, again, just to get as many different products in front of the user's eyes as quickly as possible. And again, just noting here, the sale is obviously super clear. Just add your brand logo at the top as well and you're done. A few other platforms that are super useful for getting templates that I can recommend that we personally use are platforms like Foreplay. Just type in Black Friday ads and you'll start to find some templates coming through. You can even look at them per whatever niche or market you are entering. Another is Canva, super useful, super user-friendly. Again, just searching things like Black Friday templates will come up with thousands of different assets for you to use. And then lastly, a personal favorite of mine is AdNova. They have curated a Black Friday template board, which you can get access to if you use their platform. It actually links directly back to Canva and Figma so that you can easily interplay and recreate the ads from there. So now that you've created some hopefully net new assets just from those templates and with limited access to different raw imagery or video content from your brands, The next step is to build your data foundation. So what this means is going into your ad account or going into whatever your reporting dashboard is, identifying what your current top performing assets are within Meta. And I've already touched on this again in other Black Friday videos. It's super important to know what your winning ads are already going into Black Friday. But now, if you just want to take those assets and turn them into Black Friday ads, here's how you're going to do it. So you're going to go and build your report. Number one, you're going to want to look at previous Black Friday years, find your top 10 to 20 performers, pull those out, and then do the same thing for the past 1 to 2 years. So you look back the last 365 days, what were your top 10 performing assets? If you've got a super high volume of ads, perhaps you've got more, maybe you've got 20, maybe you've got 30, 50. It really depends on your marketing spend. In this instance, this brand is spending about $60,000 per month. So I'd pull through their top 20 to 30 assets. And you're really wanting to focus on metrics here like return on ad spend, low cost per results, low CPCs, high click-through rates, and high hook scores, as well as amount spent. Obviously, the more amount that you've spent on a certain ad, the more efficacious that data is. And we obviously create these reports for every single one of our clients so that they know what their top performers are. Now, let's say you're again in a predicament where you don't even actually have access to a client's Google Drive. What you're going to do is you're going to take the names of the assets that you found within your data, pull through those top performers, search for them in your media library. So any brand that you've got access to on Meta Ads, you should have access to their media library as well. Go onto that, search for the name within the account media library. And then for any video or static or GIF content, you can actually download that asset directly from media library again. So if you can't find or you don't have access to these top performing ads, maybe they were done like multiple years ago and you can't get them, or you can't reach your client, or they're too busy to share them with you, then you can go and download them here manually. Now, if a lot of the content that you're putting through is something like video or GIF content, that's a little bit trickier to use AI for. My recommendation would be pull that data or those assets into Canva, add something like a banner or a sticker that just says Black Friday and then highlights what your promotion or discount is. But if it's something like a static, this is where we can really leverage AI to start creating new assets for us based off of our top performers. So once you've downloaded those top performing static ads, you're going to want to go to Gemini, which is Google's version of ChatGPT basically, and use something called their Imagen tool. Now, literally all that requires you to do is search Imagen Gemini, go into Gemini, upload one of your statics at a time. And you can use this exact prompt, which I'll also put into the description in this video. Essentially, you're going to say, turn this exact ad into a Black Friday version with the headline saying whatever you want your headline to be, in this case, biggest sale of the year. The discount is whatever your discount is, in this case, up to 40% off site-wide. Keep everything else in the ad exactly the same. And here's what's key, and this is why I recommend using Gemini. Gemini, its AI generation for images is far more accurate than any other tool live right now in terms of keeping assets looking exactly the same. So you'll also notice it uses something called Nano Banana, and this AI is particularly good at keeping things like people's faces and likeliness looking consistent. And so if you were to put this ad into ChatGPT, you may see it start to change certain things. It may make the image look a little bit softer, could literally change the people that are in the ads. So it's not as consistent, whereas Gemini is really good at just isolating exactly what you want to change and then keeping the rest the same. So I'll show you an example of what this ended up looking like. The original ad said a blanket designed for outdoor living. The Gemini version was able to use the exact same font that this brand uses, change the title to biggest sale of the year, up to 40% off site-wide, and then kept everything else completely consistent. Obviously, you could go into something like Canva and edit this yourself or use Photoshop, for instance. But that's going to take up a lot of time, especially when you don't have it. Using an AI tool like this to leverage is just far more successful. Again, especially if you don't have access to the actual raw file that originally created this content. Now, once you've got your adjusted asset from Gemini, you're going to want to obviously resize that for your different placement optimizations. One option is that when you download the original asset from Media Library, also download the Square version of it and then just get Gemini to adjust both. However, if you've only got one version, if you've only got the 9:16 or the 1:1 or whatever, Gemini isn't great when it comes to resizing. So you'll see here on the left, this was after prompting Gemini multiple times to turn the image into a Square version or a 1:1 version. It just couldn't do it. It kept it 9:16. However, if you download that asset and then put it into ChatGPT and ask it to create a Square version of it, you can see it has come up here on the right. Just be wary of this. As you can see, it's actually a lot smoother. It's definitely altered this image slightly, although the likeliness is very similar. So just weigh up on your end as a brand. Are you willing to kind of save time with resizing by using an AI function that may adjust things slightly, or would you rather go onto Canva and then manually edit it yourself? And that's literally it. So within an hour, you can see how you can go from having no assets for Black Friday to at least having some base with a hypothesis that you're also using some of your top performing assets. So it should technically do pretty well. And in under 60 minutes, you should be in a much better position to prepare yourself for Black Friday than you were an hour before. So just to summarize your zero asset Black Friday and Cyber Monday creative playbook, there are 5 basic steps. Number 1 is start with templates. Number 2 is pull your top performers, make sure that your data is valid and makes sense. Number 3 is turn those winning assets into top performing ads with Black Friday messaging using tools like Gemini and Nano Banana. If you need to, you can go in and polish it using tools like Canva or ChatGPT, and then you're ready to upload and go live. It's as simple as that. Now, obviously, if you are a brand who has capacity to produce entirely new content, I'm not saying don't do that. This is really for the brands where you may be on a tight budget or timeline, in which case this strategy could help save you during Black Friday. If you feel like you're drowning in requests right now and you don't feel prepared for Black Friday, try this workflow and see how it works for you.